This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Today's video is brought to you by Noom. In just a minute, I'm going to talk about an offer exclusive to my audience that I really, truly believe will benefit you as it has benefited me. Woke up early this morning, earlier than normal, about 5 a.m. I usually get up about 5:45. That sounds like a flex, but I don't mean it to be. To see Steve Bannon do the perp walk. Woke up to watch Steve Bannon in cuffs. I was disappointed. It's not a deal breaker for me. I still think it's good that he was indicted and he has turned himself in voluntarily. But they spared him the indignity of the perp walk. I don't know why, but it is deference for deference sake, I guess. And I wanted to talk about that, but also this headline from the Washington Post this morning about Republicans now threatening to do the same thing. It's not going to be the same thing at all once they get into power. Preemptively, they are threatening this kind of action when they regain control, if they regain control. And I want to talk about this in part because you need to know that this is what is at stake if you don't organize during the midterms. If you don't get out and vote, and if you don't get out every member of your family who is going to vote the right way. You hear people say this well, it doesn't matter who you vote for, just vote. No. Not when we live in the climate in which we live. Not when there are active insurrectionist traitors at the gates. It doesn't matter if you will just vote. No. If you're not going to vote for freedom and America and a continuation of our country, if you're not going to vote against the existential threat that is the Republican Party, I don't want you voting. I'm getting far afield from where I want to be, so I'm going to read from this Washington Post article. But before I get to that, a word from today's sponsor, Noom. We all face obstacles on a daily basis. Sometimes these obstacles are concrete, like lacking money to purchase something we want, or we're physically unable to be in two places at the same time. But many of our toughest obstacles are right up here. Right up here. Years ago in the Marine Corps, I was injured in a motorcycle accident that had me convinced that my days of fitness, of physical health, were in the past. I'd come to accept weight gain as a part of my present and future. And at the start of the summer, though, I started using Noom. Noom is not a diet. It's not merely a weight loss tool. It is a program that utilizes cognitive behavioral therapy to help change your habits and allow you to overcome your obstacles. Since June, I've spent about 10 minutes a day using Noom. Noom's intuitive lessons have enabled me to shed pounds. Real weight. My clothes are fitting better, and not only am I looking better, more importantly, I am feeling better, sleeping better. Take a moment to see how Noom can help you. Try your free 30-second Noom quiz today at noom.com/Dollemore or click the link in the description to get started right now. One common obstacle of the average weight loss program is limited options. By grouping foods into green, yellow, and red categories, Noom allows you to eat anything that you want, merely suggesting that you moderate your portions. Think of how effective this simple visual is. Red means stop. Green means go. It's one of the first things we learn as kids. Noom incorporates tools that you already have within to empower you to achieve your goals. Don't wait. Head to noom.com/Dollemore to take your free 30-second quiz today, or simply click the link in the description below to start overcoming your obstacles now. So I'm going to read from this Washington Post article entitled, In Wake of Bannon Indictment, Republicans Warn of Payback. GOP lawmakers say Democrats, by pursuing contempt charges against a Trump ally, are paving the way for them to go after Biden aides if they retake the House in 2022. Republicans are rallying around, of course they are. Of course they're rallying around Bannon. Republicans are rallying around former White House advisor Steve Bannon after his indictment on charges of contempt of Congress on Friday, warning that Democrats' efforts to force Bannon to comply with what they say is an unfair subpoena paves the way for them to do the same if they take back the House in 2022. Bannon, like former President Donald Trump, has refused to comply with an order from the House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection to turn over records and testify about his actions leading up to the attack when a pro-Trump mob stormed the U.S. Capitol, trying to stop the certification of President Biden's Electoral College win. Bannon is expected to turn himself into law enforcement Monday ahead of a court appearance that afternoon. He's already done that. As I said, I got up early to watch this take place, and it has happened. He has been in there. They have fingerprinted him. They've likely taken a DNA sample. He's on the record. He's on the books. It's already happened to him before because he was going through his trial before about defrauding hundreds of thousands of dollars from Trump supporters who are trying to privately fund his stupid border wall. And Donald Trump pardoned him for that. So he's already gone through the process of being a criminal, of being convicted of his crimes against the United States. Democrats and a handful of anti-Trump Republicans argue that the indictment was necessary to enforce subpoenas issued by the January 6th committee to Trump associates who are resisting cooperation and to witnesses summoned by other congressional panels. Many GOP leaders, however, are seizing on Bannon's indictment to contend that Democrats are weaponizing the Justice Department, warning Democrats that they will go after Biden's aides for unspecified reasons if they take back the House majority in next year's midterm elections, as most political analysts expect. And again, this gets back to you and me doing our jobs as concerned citizens and activists to make sure that Republicans don't take back the House. They don't take back the Senate. You need to get out there and get everybody you know to the polls. Quote, for years, Democrats baselessly accused President Trump of weaponizing the DOJ. In reality, it is the left that has been weaponizing the DOJ the entire time. How, pray tell, this is from Elise Stefanik, how were Democrats controlling the DOJ when Donald Trump was president of the United States? Dipshit. How is that possible? How is the party, the minority party, the party out of power, how are they controlling Donald Trump's Department of Justice? Nonsense conspiracy theories is all they have. Representative Jim Jordan, goofball from Ohio, suggested that Republicans would seek payback if the GOP regained control of the House, signaling that in challenging the doctrine of executive privilege, Democrats were making it easier for Republicans to force Biden top advisors to testify before a future GOP Congress. Listen, the Congress is a co-equal branch of government. One of its checks against the power of the executive branch is the power of oversight. And just as they did with Benghazi, there were no indictments. It was just irritation. If they compel testimony, those people who have been compelled to testify should testify. That goes for Eric Holder. Back in the Obama days when he refused, you got to show up. Even if you think it's a game, you got to show up. That is the way the system has been organized, and that's what we got. You don't get to choose which rules to follow and which rules to disobey. And if you do, you pay a penalty, a la Steve Bannon. Joe Biden, this is a quote from Jim Jordan, Joe Biden has eviscerated executive privilege, Jordan wrote on Twitter. There are a hell of a lot of Republicans eager to hear testimony from Ron Klain and Jake Sullivan when we take back the House. Sullivan is Biden's national security advisor, and Klain is the White House chief of staff. The January 6th committee may also refer former Donald Trump White House chief of staff Mark Meadows to the Justice Department for possible criminal prosecution in coming days. Meadows, like Bannon, has also been subpoenaed by the committee, but he did not appear Friday for a scheduled deposition. I was going to do a video on that, but I figured I would cover it in this, and that is the next person that needs to be held in criminal contempt. have a vote of the committee, forward it on to the full House, and then forward that on to the Justice Department to impanel a grand jury, or to go to a previously already impaneled grand jury and indict contempt of Congress. Because their entire game right now is just try to slow the efforts of the committee, the results of the committee, the investigation of the committee, to try to stymie their ability to find out what took place and push it into the 2022 midterms, so then they can just dissolve the committee altogether once they're in power. Because being a traitor to the United States, treason against the nation, an insurrection against an active government is not a big deal to the Republican Party. They don't want to find out the details. And the reason they don't want to find out the details is because they were in it up to their necks, organizing and orchestrating. I'd love to know what you think, though. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com as I lose my train of thought. Follow me on social media. I would absolutely love to connect with you there. And if I bring you value, please consider supporting my work here on my channel. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. All of those are good ways to support and help produce what I do here. You could take part. That would be great. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.